Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you an update on this Skaar unnamed tank. If you got any ideas for names on that, throw it in the comments. I am curious, but I did get this thing finished up, I believe, to how I wanted it to be. Now this version, I have it kind of outfitted with a bunch of guns and things like that, and then this version would be more or less what ends up on the workshop, basically without its guns. The only thing it keeps is his bulldozer blade. But other than that, I'm fairly happy with it. Now, a couple things that were done off screen. Well, a lot of things were done off screen here, but I did upgrade a lot of the blocks to it to hardened steel. Not all of them, though. I would say about 40 or 50 blocks, kind of around some of these areas on this front area here, some of the blocks around the tips of the thrusters, and just miscellaneous places. I went around with a multi-tool and just kind of upgraded those blocks. It added a little bit of weight to it and things like that, but other than that, it's working out pretty good. As in the other specs, too, it is still how it was before, 133 points over CPU once it's fully equipped. Just to take a look at the version here with all the guns on it, it does 61 forward, 45 strafing, 61 reverse, and then you still got a yaw of 85 on here, and then your roll and pitch are about in the about 30. 4 fuel tanks, 2 oxygen tanks. What I have on here currently is I have 3 medium plasma turrets, 4 light plasma turrets, a railgun, which is by recommendation. This is the version I plan on bringing into game and giving it a good test in my playthrough here. And that is the total cost of this creation, 1 hour and 16-minute build time. Again, this is it does not have an interior. And it's very much to the point, and it's also not upgradable, really. It's got no places to add additional CPU or shield parts or more generators and all that stuff. It's so tight on this build, the way it's set up, that I just don't have room to add anything more to it, basically. And then you still have all the same utility function on the back there. I definitely wanted a clone chamber on any kind of tank that you'd be engaging POIs with. And then you got your trauma station, O2 fridge, armor locker, and then there's a couple sneaky little cargo boxes back behind the thrusters over there. It is running 9K ammo storage, but the ammo controller is not visible. It is internal only. I looked around, I was going to move it, and I couldn't find any place that I would want to put it on, accessible on the hull. It basically, if you lost that controller, you can't shoot anymore. So it's safer inside where it is. I thought about actually putting it up like over in one of these spots over here next to the cockpit, but I'm like, well, what if this gets shot? It blows up that weaker block over there. That's going to be a problem. So I kept it so it's just 9K internal storage, or internal ammo bay at least. Now the version that's going to go to the workshop, it would be like this one. Now, this one did have a little bit of block modification here, but it's the same price. And basically, it would be this block design, but without the guns, essentially. But without the weapons on it, the stats all kind of go up because it's less weight moving around, basically. So then it does 106 forward, 77 strafing, 122 on your yaw, 106 reverse, with the 53-minute, 57-second build time. Still, it's going to need your bridges and matrices, and it looks like 10 platinum for something. Could be the bulldozer blade or something. I'm not exactly sure what costs that, but it does need 10 platinum. And CPU on this one is 20,000. You got a little over 10,000 CPU left over, basically enough to add all those guns that I put on there. And that is pretty much it on the build, I think. Next part would be to bring it in game and test it, and then figure out a name for it. So I do plan on getting this to the workshop later this week. I just don't exactly know what to call it yet, and I kind of wanted to give it a good little test shake-up in gameplay, going after some POIs and things before then, so I can see if it's got some problems. Known issues with it would be the 133 over CPU with this loadout, and also with its power setup. It is possible, if you're actively charging your shield, driving around like a madman, you can tweak the power so it briefly will touch 104% power usage. It's hard to do, though. It's hard to even recreate that. And I'm told not to worry about that. So I'll see how that works out in gameplay. It doesn't do any damage to the generators. It's so instant and brief that it's weird. I don't even exactly know the right combination of things to do to have that happen. But I did see it happen once or twice. Driving this thing around, hitting 104% power usage, just like instantaneously, and then it's gone again. So, yeah, it can do that. But I'm told that that's kind of an optimal power setup, and we'll see how it goes. Now, it is fixable. If it becomes a problem, I'll fix that before I get it to the workshop as well. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a, I don't know, I would call it more of a low tier. It's still a Core 7, but kind of a low tier tank, and of course you can outfit it with any guns you want on it when you get it. Like in this case, you know, I'm trying to plasma load out. I want to see how straight plasma does against POIs, both with doing the hull damage or the block damage on the POI and taking down the shields. Now there's a lot of other alternative weapons, and since they're all the same CPU price for type of like light gun or medium gun, you can just, you know, mix and match and do what you want to do, which is I really dig that. I kind of like the idea of yeah, I can assume, you know, maybe I want it in this version, maybe, but not everybody's gonna want that. So kind of my standard thing now is just to leave the guns off these builds. Makes it pretty easy to put guns you want on it, and then you don't have to pay for the ones you don't want. So there you go. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's any other details to point out on this thing. I don't think so. If you didn't catch the other video where I kind of showed this, not as far along as where it is right now. Here, and actually, let me look at the... Yeah, this would be the newest version right here with the guns on it again. There's not much going on in the front here. It's there's a couple thrusters in there and a couple of hover engines, but literally you can lose like the whole front part of the tank. If you do take critical hits inside this area of the tank, you'll be in trouble. Parts had to go somewhere, so they're all in here. They're all in this area over here. So, but I'm trying to protect that the best I can. There is a steel wall behind all these parts as well, so it's not like weak on the inside. But again, operating this tank, you'd really always want to be facing your target, and even when you say your shield's getting low and you want to back away from the target, well, back away from the target. Don't turn around and go the other way. Always keep the back of the tank away from what's going to shoot at it if you can. And try not to back into another POI at the same time. That's basically where it's at, and this is how it came out. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk about. I did a texturing video on this one. It's almost 2 hours long, and I basically took it from this stage to this stage, except for the little extra roundy blocks I did after that. If you want to watch that, I'll have a link to that video in this video, and it's just kind of more of a tutorial than anything else, kind of going through and you know, starting from nothing and texturing it up like with the newest Skaar texture specs, very much similar to what's done on the Hornet as well. In fact, pretty much identical to what's done on the Hornet. The whole reason I didn't put that other video public is because I realized that my OBS recording settings were crap. I switched it a little while back to a different mode so I could pause recordings when I'm making them, but it adjusted a lot of other video settings I wasn't really aware were causing a lot of problems. And then I briefly looked at the video of me texturing this, and then I seen every time I would move the camera, it would pixelate badly. So that's why I don't want to put that video public. But for the most part, you can definitely see what's going on and everything like that. If you're interested in how to go about texturing this with the Skaar color palette and the kind of textures that are being used and all that fun stuff and how it kind of works out. There's a lot of, it's actually a fairly complex setup to texture at this point in time. The early Skaars were a lot easier, but these newer ones, they're more involved. But I also think they look better. Generally look better than the earlier Skaar builds, and that's why I did it. It is more work though. It takes longer to texture them, and it's a little more complicated, especially with all the different color tones and things like that, or shades of gray, I should say. But other than that, I think that's all I've got to show you at the moment. I'm hopefully we'll get some time a little bit later today to play some more on the server. I wanted to do some organization and more resource collecting, and I'd like to actually bring in this tank as well. This unknown named tank here. And I haven't really just come up with a good name for it yet. I thought about like rapier, but I've seen that used so many times, and I don't know. But if you come up with something that would fit with Skaar, I mean, some of the Skaar names are just right off the, like the Ridge Rat and just weird things like that. So I mean, if you think of something that could fit with this, that's fine, or something else. I mean, it's just they're kind of a laid back name, and I typically don't go with like the what I do with the human names. A lot of those are mythological names and stuff like that. I don't do too much of that with the Skaar. I don't think I have, at least. Could be an exception to that, but I think most of the names were kind of, I don't know, just different, just kind of like Mad Maxy names or something like that. Mostly. The Hornet's actually kind of more normal sounding. But other than that, that is all I've got for today. And, let me know what you think of it. And if you like it, other than that, I'll probably try to get it out a little bit later this week after I get it tested, shooting some POIs and see if there's any more unknown problems or unknown problems I don't know about, because I've never tested this in any kind of real scenario at this point in time. But from what I can tell in creative, it does what I wanted. I wanted a nice agile tank with a good DPS output for a Core 7 build. It was focused around a Core 7 build without upgrading and things like that. So just like disposable tank, outfit it, shoot up stuff, do your business and go away. That's pretty much it. So other than that, y'all have yourself a great day. I'll talk to you later.